Yo, what's going on, everyone? Hello and welcome to a special stream that I'm doing tonight. So, all of you that are on Twitch know this, but a lot of people on YouTube won't know this. I took second place just the other day in the $22 mini Sunday Million. It was an epic score, you guys. Such a crazy run, and I'm going to review some of the hands today. Unfortunately, there was a crash of my computer in the middle of the run, so the recording is gone, except for, there's like the Twitch recording, but it has a bunch of copyright music on it, which I can't upload on YouTube. So I wasn't sure what to do. I was like, hey, let's do a hand history review and sort of go over all the hands that I VPIP'd. That means voluntarily put money in the pot. So we have about 200 hands here. We're going to go over from the start of when I registered this tournament and see if we can figure out what I'm doing. I'm going to talk a little bit through my decision making, etc. All right, let's do this thing. First hand of the tournament for me, I pick up ace. Not a bad way to start. So obviously I'm going to raise this thing up, get a call on the button and a call on the big blind. This is a really sort of active flop, so I'm going to talk about like what I would do now and what I think I should do. I like betting here, and I like betting on the bigger side, especially early in this tournament. I think something like 550, 600 would be pretty good. I would bet 520. I would go a little bit bigger in hindsight. Get a call, 5 on the turn. Just keep betting here, I'd say 1200. 1400, okay. Yep, that'll work. Next hand, ace jack. Limp. We're definitely going to raise this one. Maybe, I would say like 400 would be good. About 5x the limp would be the size. Make it a little bit less than that. 360, okay. Bet on this jack queen. Take that down as well. Next hand. Okay, 6-4. Play this hand, limped pot. Let's get in there. So we flop a double gut shot. A 3 or 7 could give us the best hand here. I think check call is fine. Ooh, I must have missed the double gutter. 3 or 7 giving us the best hand. I think for such a cheap price we should continue here. So I must have missed that on the fly. Ace king, you're going to raise it up. Just a 300. I should have made this 400 here. Over and under the gun limp, but nevertheless we see call. I like betting 1/3 of the pot on such a dry flop. And a min raise from NBUK to 600. We call. It's pretty cheap. I mean, it's only 300 chips to win 1740. As you can see, our pot odds here very, very good at 5.8 to 1. 15% equity is all we need. So we're gonna call. King on the turn, beautiful. They bet. I don't see any reason to raise here. Just call. They check. We're going to value bet 2,300. I like it. Get a call by 6-7. Making the pair on the river. Okay, that makes some sense. What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Why are you already breaking down hand without any viewers? It's for YouTube, Regius. I mean, you guys can watch it on Twitch, obviously. That's why I've started the stream. But primarily, like, this was a video I was going to make for YouTube. I was like, hey, why don't I stream it? So that's what we're doing. We are live. Yes, no delay. Okay. Next hand. So we're chipping up pretty nicely here to start the tournament, sitting on about 16,000. Another limp. Again, okay, so we make it about 4 times this limp. Good call. I think betting is okay here. I would like to bet. I think we can get value from worse club draws from them. Get a bit of protection from our hand as well. They bet we should definitely call on this turn. And on the river, I think we should fold. Yeah. Our opponent playing pretty passively so far. I think it's just a good idea to let that happen. Okay. Aces. We have run pretty good in this tournament, I would say. A lot of aces. A lot of ace kings. Definitely a decent chunk. 10-8-5. A lot of draws up there. I like betting something like 600, 650 here. Just because of how many draws that exist in this situation. Bet 720, cool, and take it. That's it. I mean, this is such a deep tournament, the mini million, that you can elect to choose big sizings. We're gonna raise up 8-7 suited. Call from Silva Fox. Check fold. This is not a very good board 3 ways. We do have the backdoor spades, but it's just not a good spot. I'm just out of the way. Yep. Cool. Raise under the gun to 400. It's a frisky call, but I think a call can be justified, especially in this tournament. So let's call. See a flop. They check, we check. This is a really good board for under the gun. They're going to have way more of the strong ace king, ace queen, ace jacks. Excuse me. Than we are, so I don't like betting. I think just taking the free card is good. Check, check. Check, check again. Check, check it down. Lose to fives. Cool. King, jack of hearts. We'll raise. We get 3-bet. This is an awkward spot because, as you can see, we're getting 2.3 to 1. We need about 30% equity. We do have a suited hand. Then again, we are getting 3-bet under the gun +1. We're going to be dominated a lot. I think I'd fold. It's very borderline, but I think fold is the right decision there. All right, 6-5 suited. Yeah, let's see the flop. Oh, running okay. Running okay here. Call, check, bet. Let's raise it up 2,200. Just get some money now. Get some money now, man. No call, though. We are not worried about very many turns, but I think it's a good spot to try and get some dollars for us. There's a call. Checking back, I think, is good here. Control the size of the pot. We do elect to bet 522. I don't like this very much. I don't think betting accomplishes very much. I think we should check. Call, lead. Now, we definitely have to fold in this deuce of hearts. They can have an ace-x type hand that beats us. Any hearts beat us, and we're drawing dead against hearts, I believe, right? We don't have a heart in our hand. Yeah, so I think just folding is cool. Getting a really good price. It's only 400. 5.4 to 1. We need 14% equity. We'll call. Flop 2 pair, not bad. A bet and a raise is very interesting. I think we should shove here. We're gonna get it in really good against diamonds. Ace 10, king 10 type hands could totally play it this way. Under the gun could potentially have some like big strong pairs here too. I think this is a really good spot. So I like shove, call. What do we got? Queen 9 diamond draw and kings. Damn, sick. That's a big hold. As you can see, how I won or how I got heads up in a 9,000 person tournament. Okay, next. Yo, Frosty Nug Farms dropping 100 bits. Thanks, Frosty. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I forgot to restart the alerts, by the way, so let me do that. Let me restart the alerts because it says 18 subs today. That is not true. There we go. Fixed. Okay. So pocket nines, raise under the gun. We're just going to call here with the nines. Take it to the streets. 8-7 deuce. Pretty good flop. Calling. Good turn. I mean, we pick up a straight draw and a flush draw if our nines aren't good here. And 4 on the river. They bet 5,100. Yuck. Yuck. This is a really gross situation against Nemesis. Like a triple barrel from under the gun. So we beat some things like the ace high diamonds that might barrel or king high diamonds that might barrel. Are they value betting an 8 like this? No, I don't think so. And they don't have very many 8s. They're raising out of the gun. I don't hate a fold in this situation. We're getting 3 to 1. We need to be good 25% of the time. I don't think we're good very often. I think folding is good. We do fold. Yeah. It's a close spot. I'm in sync with my former self, though, so I'm happy with that. Another ace-king. Bet on this ace-queen 7, I think is cool. Call. Bet again on the ace turn. Beautiful. I mean, queen gets some value from a queen, etc., but they just fold. Okay. Raise up under the gun, and we're going to call with the king 10 of diamonds. I like calling here against a continuation bet if it comes in, but it goes check, check. Jack of the turn. I think checking is fine. We now have aces and jacks with a king kicker, so if they don't have an ace or jack, we have the best hand. I think calling is totally okay. Let's put ourselves in our opponent's shoes. If they have 10s through deuces here, which is quite a lot of hands, they're going to bet on the turn. It's just a spot where they should be bluffing, so I think our king 10 is doing well enough. And they shove the river. For overbet, we definitely got to fold. Next hand. Okay. Nemesis raises to 1,000. We're going to re-raise our aces, get a call. A lead here. We're very, very deep stacked against Nemesis. I like putting in a raise in this situation. I like getting some money from diamond draws. I like getting some money from like a 6x type hand they might have in this situation. I like hands like 10s and 9s, being able to get it all in and be less worried than maybe if a jack comes on the turn or a queen. So I like raising. Get a call. 4 on the turn, they lead. 13,000. Yeah, and we only have 16k, so we shove. Yeah, cool. Kings. That is a cooler. Whew, I'm running okay in this tournament. So now we are at a very nice stack right now. 58,000 chips at 2,500. I like calling against Nemesis with Jack 9. So kind of a tough one here because we flop the gut shot and we flop the overcard on this sort of board. Nemesis is going to miss this quite a bit as well. I think check shove is the right play. We have to risk about 8,500 chips in this situation to try and pick up the 4,000 in the pot. But of course, when we get called, we're not dead. Like, we're not doing terribly. If they call with like a 10, we're okay, right? So I like check shove. We elect to call here. Deuce on the turn, and now we have to fold on the turn. Do an all-in. Okay, ace 10, raised to 1250. That's it. I have just filtered for hands that I VPIP'd. I voluntarily put chips in the pot. Alright, we're going to raise it up to 1800, get a call. I like checking here. I think that's good. Let's control the size of the pot here. There's no need to bet or second pair in this situation. I think just going for a check call is good. King in the turn, check bet. A little bit uncomfortable, but as you see, 3.2 to 1. We need 23% equity. Let's count. 2 more 8s on the deck, 3 aces in the deck, 5 outs, around 10% we improve. So we only need to have the best hand in another 13% or so. We are simplifying things, right? Sometimes we can ace or an 8 and we don't have the best hand, they have 9 jack. Or sometimes they could bluff us on the river. Or sometimes it's a heart and they get there. But in general, I think we're getting the right price. So we'll see if I called. No, just folded on the turn. There you go. If I could go back in time, I would have called on this turn. I think we're playing a bit too weak. Just a bit. Like if we had a weaker 8, we could just fold. Okay, Jack 10 of diamonds. Raise it up. I like betting in this situation. We have a gut shot. We have a backdoor flush shot. We're not going to win with Jack high very often. It's a good spot to bet. We do bet. We're around a bit over a third of the pot. Get a call. I'm shutting down. And King 10 takes it. The 7 spades is definitely a card they can hit. They can either make a flush or they're not folding their ace very often if they have it. Raise call on the big blind. They lead. Just call here with our pair of aces. I mean, we should definitely be worried about this lead, but we've played quite a few hands against Nemesis, you may remember. So 8 of hearts on the turn makes things pretty interesting. Now I think we call in that if we don't have the best hand, we have an additional 9 outs to make a flush. So I think we should call here. And boom. We were good against 9-10. But, I mean, the flush on the river just to cap it off is pretty cool. Okay, onwards. Ace Queen of diamonds. Base to pot. Raises to 2,000. I like re-raising for value here. And we do so. Make it 5,200 to go. A shove, call. No. We lose all of those hard-fought chips down to 34,000. Okay. All right. Raise call. And it folds. We've had ace king so many times in this tournament. I do like to bet on the 6-7-4. I think you can go either way, depending on your opponent as to whether you want to bet or check. I go for a bet this time and take it down. I don't really have a strong argument either way as to what's better against a random person in this tournament. Okay, raise, take it. Here's the 7-8 suited, and we go through as the flop. Oof, not a bad flop at all. I like betting in this situation. We do have 8 high, and we have very strong draws in that we have a gut shot and a flush draw. Stacks aren't super deep with 8,000 in the middle. I think just betting is good. If either opponent wants to rumble, let's do it. We're just going to call and an ace on the turn. Shove the turn is pretty simple. They're sitting only 14,000 chips behind. Less than pot. We shove. They fold. We pick it up. Alright. So limp from Marius BR. And this is kind of an awkward one given stacks. I can see limping behind, but I don't like going multi-way. I can see raising here. And I can see folding. I think what I would do is probably raise to around 3,500. 4,000 might be overkill given Marius BR's stack size. I'll make it 3,500. But we do limp along. I don't really love this. I think it's better to raise. And checking on this king queen 4 is pretty bad. Check it down. 6, 7 deuces. Yeah, I would have liked raising, but that's okay. King Jack, we raise this up 8-handed, which is kind of the borderline for me. As to an open, we take it down. King Jack at 600, 1,200 now, so we're definitely getting to it. I think probably should be nearing the money bubble at this point. Just gonna call with our King Jack suited and fold on this flop. Yeah, really bad flop for King Jack. It's funny how these tournaments work, right? Because you go back and you look at them and you sort of go over the decisions that you made. And like a lot of the time, like confidence from me can sway back and forth in terms of like, I think I'm doing really good things, or I think I'm not doing great things. I think I'm playing really well. I think I'm not playing very well. Sometimes, just a lot of poker can come down to the cards in situations, right? And we've seen that in this tournament where it's just like, wow, we've had really easy, simple decisions so far. There hasn't been much that's had to happen. It's kind of just been like, oh, well, just this is obvious, right? Do this. So it always makes it fun when there's a tournament like that to play. It's pretty simple, it goes smooth, breezy. Deuce 4 in the big blind suited. I will call the suited version. I like it. Now this is awkward. We're getting such a good price though, 4.7 to 1. I think we should definitely call any pair. That's a mistake, man. Too good of a price, guys. Too good of a price to fold the pair. Yes, we're gonna have to fold on a lot of turns, but like 10% of the time we improve to 2 pair or a set and then get paid usually too. So I think that's a mistake by me. And I've done that twice where I've folded a pair getting really good odds. So I should keep that in mind, I think. We will reshove is standard by the book here against Basti Pot, who seems to be playing pretty well. I think I'd just reshove here. We like to go for a call. And now we have to fold. Such a bad board. I think I should have reshoved pre-flop. Ace 5 suited. We're going to raise it up, which is a very frisky raise given how deep stacked we are. I don't think this is great. We're only on 33,000. The big blind is 2,400. We have about 15 big blinds. I remember this hand now in play. Like, do we shove? And we may be able to shove this hand. Let's get you hand details. So we may be able to profitably shove. Let's check out the Nash range on this. So I'm going to copy the hand history. I've closed my PokerStars so I can run an IC Miser sim. This is a picture of the lobby. So let's paste a hand history here. And basically we're just doing chip big blind, so there's no ICM. This is all just like you're trying to pick up chips. Let's see if we can profitably shove here. And I suspect we will be able to shove in this situation. It may not be the most profitable play though. Okay, yeah, so ace 5 suited plus 0.1. This is an ICM still. Chip EV. Yeah, there we go. So let's see how many chips this is going to net us. Going to net us 236 chips. And the big blind is 2.4K, right? So it's going to net us like 1/10 of a big blind in this situation with ace 5. That's not a huge edge. It may be more profitable to open. That is, of course, assuming that it is profitable to open, which it probably is. So this is a really close spot to me. I think shoving is fine. I think opening is borderline. And clearly we shouldn't fold. There you go. So we go for the open. Here we flop a pair of fives, and we're in a very awkward spot now given our stack size. Check call, check shove. Interesting. Okay, so this is an interesting line by me. I guess trapping our opponent's betting quite a bit. I mean, we can't really fold, right? So I guess I'm trying to trap an over-c bet with a lot of king, queen, king, jack, you know, queen, nine suited type hands. And that's that. They fold. And we pick it up. They show the twos. So, I mean, we played our hand perfectly against twos. We didn't know they had twos, of course, so we can't give ourselves credit for that. Folds around to the king 10. Limping or raising, I think is fine. Go for limp. Stabbing, cool. 4 on the turn. I give up. Hey, and now we can value with the river. I would say something like 6,000 or so. We go for 9,000, which is pretty big. I like choosing a smaller sizing there. Our opponent should be quite weak. Raise the ace king. Take it. We've had ace king so many times. Oh my god. So ace nine offsuit here. This is really close, and it depends on our opponents. I think this was the bubble though, because I remember opening a little bit wider than I should theoretically because of the payout pressure. Get a call. Check back here is cool. There's a few bad cards, but again, control the size of the pot I think is a good idea. And deuce of diamonds on the turn. They bet, we'll call. The river is the 3 of spades. But a 5,600. And we went for value here on this river, which I think is interesting. I remember this spot, right? They bet so small on the turn, we call. And they bet so small on the river. I just assumed they had a pretty weak hand here. I didn't think they could do this with a king. I didn't think it made any sense. I thought, you know, do they have queens, jacks, or tens? Well, no, they didn't re-raise pre-flop. So what do they have? They probably have like a weaker 9 type hand, or like even a 5 or 6s or 7s or 8s that's just like trying to block bet. So I went for value and raised to 32,000 here. And then they called and they had king queen. I was just really surprised by the whole way that they played this. So there you go. Marat takes it down, and we're down to 18,000 now in this mini million review. We'll keep it going though. So the king 8 offsuit, a shove. We are sitting on about 4 big blinds. I think calling is totally okay. And we win against 10-3. Hiya. Let's go. So now up to 31,000. Shove the ace 10. Get it through. Ace queen. Shove this in as well. Oh, we get a call by the queens, but no. Ace on the flop. Ace on the river. We take it down, and now we're up to a pretty good stack. After that suck up, 80,000. So we have a spot here. We can decide to shove in this situation, which is like 27 big blinds or so. And Nikosh sitting at about 130k. Or we could just call. Calling, I like. If we get a squeeze here, we're in a good spot to go 3 ways all in if they want to. And I think it's a lot to risk. God, it's close. I'm going back and forth in my mind now. I think calling is best. I shove. Okay. All right, I shove. Both are good. Both are clearly going to profit in this situation. Like we can run this in, and I mean I can show you the profitability of shoving in this situation, giving our opponent, you know, some default of hands. So let's paste a hand history here. And we have pocket 10, so our opponent raised to 6,400. Let's give them an opening range in this situation, 26%. I mean, generally it's going to be okay. Like, it might look a little bit different here. Like, it might have this and this and not have this and this. But, you know, it's pretty close. Then we have the 10s in this situation. So do we shove? And let's say we did shove. What would the big blind call? I think this is far too wide. Oh, no, the big blind's short, isn't it? The big blind is on 6 big blinds. Okay. So I think they would actually call this. I think they would call this. Something like this. I'd say they call 14% or so, just given how short they are. And if the big blind calls, what does middle position over call? Something like this. Tens. Nines as well. And then let's say the big blind folds, but then middle position calls our shove with, let's say sevens plus. I mean, I'm going to give them a tighter range than this. I think they probably call just like only ace queen and sevens plus. But we can filter around. So let's see if our shove makes us money. And it does, actually. And against these ranges, we could shove like huge amounts of hands. Like our tens would make us 4 big blinds in this situation if they were to call this range. You know, we could shove a hand like 7-3 suited for some chips, which illustrates like the problem that if you're opening a really wide range and you're not calling very much to a shove, then you've got a problem. So let's widen this out and let's make the tens a worse situation, right? Let's say they call like this, they call like this, and let's say they call something like this, right? Now how are we doing? Now the tens are profiting 16,000, so we're winning a lot more with tens, but we can't shove all of these like garbage hands anymore, you know, in this situation. And then let's tighten up this range. So let's make it, let's say they're super nit pre-flop. They're opening 9% or something. And they're calling when we shove with this. Ace, queen, and tens plus. Now how are we doing? Oh, just barely breaking even. So the point is, anyways, all that rambling aside, the point is that we can shove the tens here profitably. Is that going to be better than calling pre-flop? It's tough to say. But there we go. Next. Ace, queen of hearts. Definitely going to shove in this situation. We're sitting about 20 big blinds. Not much to say here with ace, queen. And, hey, counterfeit on the river. Boom. 4s and 5s with an ace kicker is good to go. And we are up to 163K with a full double up there. Let's go to the ace 10. Tigo Biddies raises up to 10,000. We can go either way with the ace 10 here, getting a pretty good price. I think with their big sizing, I like calling more than shoving. I think it's really easy for them to have ace jack, ace queen, ace king type hands to that sizing. So I like seeing flops here. And we do. Flop it a 2-pair man. Check, check. Let's just bet on the turn, 12,000. This is not going to quite put enough in to shove on the river. We do want to get some action, though. You could size it up a bit, maybe 13,500 in hindsight. And I go, oh, never mind. Yeah, no. I go for about an 80% bet on the river, which I think is meh. I would go a bit less. I think I would go 33,000 in hindsight. Try and get called from some of those tens. Try and for sure get a call from the ace X type hands. But Tigo Biddies folds. Okay. So I think some of my river sizing has been a little bit big. A limp. We're going to limp in with the deuce 5. Just folds. Again, these are just hands that I've played that we're looking at right now. Not all the hands of the tournament. Obviously, just the hands that were at VPIP'd. All right. Open the jack 10. Take it down. Ace king of diamonds. And I think check calling in this situation is okay with the 2 overcards and the flush draw. I don't really like betting against S. Sim got it. So I would check call. Turns a queen and check, check. Do we want to turn our ace king into a bluff on the river? I don't think we have to here. I think ace king is strong enough. If we had like ace 10, ace 9, I would do it. But check, check, and we take it down. And we are up to a pretty nice 231,000 now. Raise 3-bet from Benzoa. I think we should get this all in pre-flop against 15 big blinds. I actually like to fold. Wow, this is sick. Because Benzo started this hand with 15 big blinds. 15 big blinds. I fold 8s to a 3-bet small. I think this is too tight. I mean, I remember this hand now, so I remember being like saying exactly that. This is really tight. It seemed quite strong to me. It does look strong, right? They're 3-betting small with a 15 big blind stack. But I think 8s is too good, so I would go with 8s here. But I folded. Queens raise, call, flop at a top set mon. Queen jack 5. There's a decent amount of draws in this situation. I think checking is good though. We should check a lot. Sim Gotit is a good player. I think checking is good. We bet though, so never mind. Bet call, deuce of diamonds. Definitely want to check on this turn. Most obvious draw gets there. I think check call is cool with top set. 8 is a bad river, and that 10-9 gets there, and flush is still there. But it goes check check, and we win with 8-9. So there you go. Next hand, pocket jacks. And a shove here, pretty simple. We're going to be putting money in the pot, and against these two short stacks, just shoving is good. We beat 8-9. Blinds right now, 3K, 6K. Not a joke amount of blinds. I don't know how deep into the tournament we are here, but, you know, we're making moves. Let's defend with our ace-6 against Rejima. Definitely not folding here. We flop a gut shot. We still have ace high. Good situation to continue. 7 on the turn, check, check. 8 on the river. I think this is a mandatory bluff situation. We just have a lot of these hands, right? We're in the big blind. We can call with a hand like 5-6. We can call with a hand like 7-6, 7-8. You know, 7-9, 7-10, 7-jack suited, 7-queen suited. Like all these sorts of hands we can call with. Whereas they're not going to be raising all of those hands. Because they chose to raise. So they're all of these cards to like these ones. Whereas we called in the big blind. We're going to have a lot of stuff that hits this. So I like bluffing on the river. And it works out. Okay, a raise from Cassis to 17,000. I think calling with 8s is cool. Yuck, I fold here. It's such an awkward stack, but it's really going to be difficult to profit, so I think folding is cool. Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate that, man. Thanks everyone watching the live stream. So I am obviously recording this, intending to use it for YouTube as well, for a hand history review. So I'm mostly just focusing on the hands here and not doing the normal live stream interaction thing with no delay. But thank you guys for watching if you're watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Shout out to you guys as well. All right, let's keep it firing. Ace-5 suited. We're going to raise under the gun. A 3-bet all in from Saruka. Oh, man. So we need 37% equity. Do we have it with ace-5 suited? Probably not. Oh, God, it's ace-5, though. It's so sick. It's so close. It really depends on what their shoving range is. I mean, we could take a look again at this situation. Let's view hand details, you know. So let's see. Let's input some ranges and see if we can profitably call or not in the spot. Again, using IC measures. So let's paste a hand history. I'm just doing chip EV calculations here, so there's no payout consideration, and there isn't really any payout in consideration anyways at this point. So we raise it up to 17.6. We get a shove. And let's, you know, give ourselves an opening range here of like 6s plus and something like this. Something like this, maybe? Yeah, sure. Okay. So let's give ourselves that opening range. And then let's give them a shove of... What do you guys think? I think 5s is in there. I don't think this is in there, but I think that is. And this is. Let's give them this. 5s plus, ace-10 plus, king-jack suited plus, right? They shove that. And then it's back on us. How are we doing with ace-5 suited? We lose 849 chips. So we lose 1/10 of a big blind against this shoving range, remember. So if they shove this in this situation. Now let's adjust what they shove in this situation. Let's give them a wider range. So let's say they're crazy and they shove something like this. Like they're a really aggressive player, so they're going to shove any ace. They're going to shove like any suited Broadway and any pair. Let's just give them any Broadway just for simplicity, even though usually you're not going to see this situation. So they shove. Now let's see how we're doing. Oh my God, we're printing money with ace-5 suited, right? So this is where we make reads on our opponent. Seems to be a pretty decent opponent, so it's going to be a pretty standard shoving range here. Not going to be too insanely wide. It's going to be something like this. And against this, we unfortunately just lose a few chips, so we have to fold. But it's very close. It's very close, and it's not like, you know, against some people, this is going to be a good call too. We do fold. Next. Ace King, Andy, limps, I raise up, Get a call from Andy. Bet 36,000 on the flop and take it down up to 335. Next hand. Shove. We're going to reshove our ace king. Hey, ace on the river. Let's go, Barry. We got another pot coming our way. And we are up to 434,000. All right, ace four of hearts. Call. This is not a very good flop for ace four of hearts. It also hits the small blind quite a bit. I think checking is good here. We do check. Checking again. Checking it down. Yeah, I like that. This jack six notable, right? Like that's a really wide call. 10-9 of diamonds. We're going to raise to 20,000. Get a call to the streets. I like continuation betting in the situation. From under the gun, we have a weak draw where I think we're not going to win with her 10 high. So betting is good and win. Raise. Let's see a flop with our jack 10. Flop at the top, Paramon. Bet. Do we want to raise in this situation? We could go for the check raise. Calling. I like it better. I'm with you. Pass me. Queen of the turn is not so hot. They bet 54,000, and now we're in a really difficult spot. Yeah, it's tough. They're playing really tight as well. I think we should fold on this turn. They can have a better jack. They can have a lot of queens. They could be barreling some straws, which have equity, by the way. But yeah, I think we should just believe them. It's brutal. Yep, they win. It's a brutal spot, though. Shove. We will call. We will make set. We will win. Set is good. Sevens out of the gun. We raised to 22,000. We're sitting on about 500,000 chips here. Couple calls and folds. They're sevens. Flush is good. Eights. I think 3-bet calling is good in this situation. They're on 25 big blinds, right? We can't shove because we'd have to risk 47 big blinds against Dota Ace Deuce. So I like 3-bet calling in this situation. We're probably getting close to really deep run. I like to just call. I think it's a little bit weak given how the short they opened on. I would have liked a 3-bet in hindsight. Now we're in a tough spot. We should call, though. This is a mistake by me. Only 15,000 into 61,000. We need 70%. We're getting 4.8 to 1. Eights are going to be good enough. Like, we should call. So again, I need to pay a bit more attention on flops, overfolding a little bit with pairs. Just a little bit. I've made that mistake 3 times today. Ace 4 clubs. Raise. Call. Yuck. Checking. Really bad board for us. There's some good turns, though. Could consider turning our ace 4 into a bluff at some situation. I like to check it down, and we lose to an 8. Raise 3 bets, and just 4 bets is the plan. Kings against kings. Nice hand, nice hands. Nice hand, man. All right, 10-3 suited. Limping this into the small blind. I think the plan is just to limp fold if they raise it up big. And once they check, I think stabbing is good. Trying to take this pot down, and we do. Limp and stab. Fearless limps. We're in another awkward spot with our ace-8 suited. I don't like limping. There's too much unknown behind us. I think I should raise. And I think given how short Fearless is, I like making it just 3x here, just around 36,000. I'll make it 42, so I make it 3.5x instead of 3x, which is fine. And we get shoved on, and we fold. That sort of illuminates why I'm making it. I like making it 3x instead of 3.5 there. Raise 3 bets. 4 betting here, 30 big blinds deep. Yeah, I like it. Just 4 bet shove. Take it. Opening ace 10 offsuit. Call and the squeeze. Think we should definitely fold. We have too many chips in this situation to call. Next. Open ace deuce. Shoved on. Gotta fold again. No. So many ace kings. Open at 52,000. We just have 15 big blinds now. Or 16 big blinds is going to be a shove. And we hold against the ace queen up to 684. Okay, ace queen raised to 44k. Call. I think checking is a good idea here. We do have a strong ace high. We have a gut shot. The paired board really favors them. So I like checking. They bet 180,000. They overbet on the turn. This is really uncomfortable. Yuck. I don't really know what to do here. I guess I just default to a fold when we don't know much about them. Because we could be dead. So, yeah. Alright. Queen 10 offsuit here. Let's raise to 52k. Shoved on, fold. Ace jack of diamonds. Let's reshove this in for 12 big blinds. Get there against the queens. I remember this one. Boom. Big, huge moment. 800,000 chips in this mini million. All right, so jack 6 suited. We're only going to call the suited version here. Definitely fold the offsuit. Make a pair. Let's call the flop. 4 of spades. Check, check. Thank God. We'd had to fold that turn. 5 on the river. I like block betting here. I think that we charge ourselves some money when they have, let's say, a better 6, or when they have a 10 in their hand, or when they have 9s, 8s, or 7s in their hand. But also, we're paying less than if we check trying to bluff catch. If we can bet something like around 100k here and set the size, as well as sometimes we get called by worse hands too. So I like putting out a small bet in this situation. Bet 120. I could have made it a bit smaller, but they just fold. Cool. Raise on the button. Shove, fold. It's sad, but it's true. Raise, 3-bet from Dota, ace, deuce. Yuck. Yucky situation here with the ace 10. I remember this spot too. I think I ended up folding. It really depends on what we know about our opponent. I don't like calling this hand out of position, so the question is, do they have enough bluffs to 4-bet? If you don't know, I think defaulting on a fold is great. So, I fold. Cool. I like it. We shove here for 15 big blinds. Let's take a look and make sure we're clearly in the profitville in this situation. Which we will be. Whoops, that's OBS. I meant to drag Icy Miser out. So we'll be in the profit here, but it's just to show how much. And I think it is. I mean, it's not super slam dunk with 15 big blinds here, but be a shove. And ace check is profiting 8,700 chips, which is pretty solid, you know, around a quarter big blind, a little bit less than a quarter big blind. These are the hands that we could profitably shove and how many chips they're netting. Again, this is just chip EV. It's not considering payouts, not considering future edge or anything. It's just purely chip EV. So this is what we can shove. By the way, some people that may ask what that program is, I don't have any links, affiliate links or anything like that, but it's IC Miser. That's what it's called. So that's what I use. Call by Ace King. Oh, but the chop is fine, Dottie. No problem. Give him my mons back. Ace King just shoving here. This is the hand after, I believe. Take it. Getting a bit short-headed, so we see a min raise from California, and we have about 17 big blinds. Really easy all in with the 7s. Hey, just get there with the set. Oh, that was such a hype moment too. So sorry you guys missed the live version on YouTube. Oh man, as you guys can see, running good, and we're up over 1 million chips for the first time. Raise up the 8s, and go multi-way. Check. Oh, make a set on the turn. Bet 200,000. Take that down. Where are we at in this thing, by the way? We do have quite a few hands left. So I'm going to a movie, you guys, tonight. I'm going to continue this hand history review, but we are 45 minutes into this. So let's play this hand out by 3-betting the queens, 350,000. But after this hand is over, we're going to wrap up this part of the hand history review, and I'm going to pick it up again on the next hand. So we're sitting on a 1.8 million, getting towards the final table, and hopefully we'll have some interesting final table spots. So ace 4 we're going to open here. Pulls around to Ice Figure, who just calls here with a weird stack size. They just shove. We should call. This doesn't make a ton of sense, right? They're calling in the small blind. What sorts of hands are they going to want to just call and then shove for over pot? That said, we do flop top pair with quite a lot of money in the pot, so I expect to see some flush draws here. I expect to see some like weird Jack X type hands, and then every once in a while I expect to see like an Ace 9 suited or an Ace 8 suited that doesn't really know what to do. But mostly I think we're good here. And we're bad against King Jack. No, no King Jack. That hurts. Alright, next. Let's see. Pocket 8's here under the gun. Raise, Dota calls, call. 4 ways to the flop. Just going to be a check fold for me here. Just pretty straightforward in these multi-way pots. Ace Jack against a set of 6s. Ice Figure makes it 1.2. We're going to defend with our King 9. I think it's pretty good. Definitely a strong enough hand, and as you can see here, a very good price. 4.3 to 1. We need 19% equity. If the hand shut down now, we need 19% to call. But, of course, it continues past the flop. They bet 159,000. This is a spot where you could decide to get out of line. I don't really like it with our stack size. You could throw a check raise out here, because it shouldn't hit Ice Figure very often. It could hit us. Folding is okay too. I think our hand is too weak to just call. We do fold. Pulls around to us with 10-8 suited in the small blind. I like limping here. You can also shove for 15 big blinds profitably. Let's take a look at this hand actually. And so let's check out the shoving math, blind versus blind here. Because I don't have PokerStars open, so I get to run IC Miser. There we go. Okay, so calculate Nash equilibrium. So this is assuming that we both know we're playing sort of perfectly or whatever. What can we shove, assuming that they're calling correctly? And as you can see, 10-8 suited for 15 big blinds here. We profit half a big blind. Half a big blind. Oh my god, that's a lot of money, right? So there's just huge edges in these blind versus blind spots, guys. There's massive spots to exploit. And if you're not shoving 10-6 suited for 15 big blinds, but you're folding, then there's a problem, you know? Now, the second part of this, though, is that it's a comparative analysis. It's not just, is it profitable? Okay, it's profitable, I'm going to do that. You have to compare it to, well, how profitable is playing my hand for a limp? Or playing my hand for a raise? And you need to choose the best one. So I think that was like a part of poker learning in the past. Like, even if you watch some of the old training videos on some of the sites out there, they'll say like, oh, you have a profitable shove, so that's what you should do. Because we didn't really know how to estimate very well how profitable it was to limp or raise, etc. We're getting better at that now, so you just got to remember that. But what we do know now is that folding is definitely a really bad option, given how profitable this is with 10-8. And that's assuming that our opponent is calling with this range of hands. Like, assuming they call our shove for 15 big blinds with Jack-8 suited. Right? And, like, I just don't think people call these things. I think they probably call a lot of King X and Ace X and, like, this, maybe? So we just give them a bit of a... Yeah, about the same there. With more King X, less suited. About the same. So, anyways, that is hopefully illuminating as like, oh, damn, there's one person left? Put money in the pot. So we limp again. Delay is 0 right now, by the way, on Twitch. And again, I know, guys, that you're here. I'm mostly just focusing on the hand history review because I am going to be uploading this on YouTube as a standalone. So sort of just focusing on the hands for now. We flop a double gut shot and 2 overcards. I think check calling is very reasonable here. We have a very strong draw. Any 9, any 5, any 8, any 10. A lot of bluff cards in the turn. So I don't mind check calling with our hand to include some good hands that we check with. I'm going to go check. Deuce of spades in the turn. I like bluffing now. Our hand is becoming a bit more vulnerable. We still do have decent draws, but we're not going to win with 10 high very often, so I would bet here. We do go for a bet of 100,000 and take it. Pocket sevens. I think just a shove here. Again, this is a spot we should take a look at the profitability of our play. We have a very awkward stacked up here. We're 17 big blinds deep under the gun +2. That's not a very easy spot to be in. So let's calculate Nash and see how profitable our sevens are. It's not a great spot though. Seven. So we are profiting at 20,000. Notable that we're profiting less with the 7 shove here than the 10-8 suited from the small blind just a hand ago. But we do profit 20,000 chips. Where it starts to become a small edge is 6s is 1/10 of a big blind. 5s is 1/20th of a big blind. And 4s is basically break even. So it's not auto any pair in this situation. But 7s are in there. Okay. We'll do shove. Called. Hold against A7. I remember this call. I was really surprised because they're, you know, that's insanely crazy of them. If we're looking at our opponent here, so let's put ourselves as small blind. No, never mind. All in, right? There we go. All in. What do we call? Right, and we give them... Yeah, so this is the range. This is the Nash range. So what are we supposed to call in the small blind here? Oh, we got sub height. What's up, Waldy? Dropping that 34-month resub, man. That is a very long resub. Thank you so much for the support, man. Appreciate it. Not getting to watch you a lot lately, so hope you're doing fine. Congrats on the recent score. Thanks, man. Thank you. That's what we're reviewing right now. Appreciate it very much. Hearts up in chat, guys, for an elder in the house. Hope life is good. So, getting back to this hand, they called with ace-7 suited. They're losing 1 big blind. That's a huge loss. It's a really, really big loss, right? With their ace-7 suited here. They should be calling this. So, definitely too wide for them. And we hold, which is excellent. So, we'll take it. 8-9 of clubs, raise. Get reshoved on. We're going to have to call here. Getting a really good price. We need 33% against their range of hands. Alright, since we're doing a hand history review, let's do it. Let's do it. Options. View hand details. Copy these. Paste. We raise. And let's give ourselves a range in the hijack here. And this looks pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't raise all of these, actually. Maybe some of them, given... yeah, I'm going to give myself this range for opening right here. That's pretty good. Cool. And then the button shoves all in, and giving them this range I think is fine. Let's give them a few more broadways here. Something like this. All the pairs. And then it's back on us. Calculate. Boom. We are profitable with 9-8 suited. There's some hands we're unprofitable with. So even getting 2-1, we're not doing very well with Queen-7 in this situation. But we can call 9-8 suited. Let's see Let's see what our opening range... Not our opening range, sorry. I screwed that up. Let's see what our calling range has to be to make it unprofitable. Or let's see what their shoving range has to be to make it unprofitable. Right? So let's give them something really tight here. Like king, queen, ace 10, and 6s plus. Ace 10 plus. That's really tight. Let's see how our 9 suited does now. Getting 2-1. Still profiting in this situation. Still. Whew. And they're shoving super nit here. So let's get rid of the king queens and the ace 10s. Now I bet we're losing. Nope. Still not losing. Okay. Let's get rid of 7s and 6s and ace jack off. How are we doing now? Now we're losing. Okay. So getting 2-1, we need them to shove that tight to fold. Obviously they're not. But it's good to, it's interesting to know the line. I think it's really useful to look up, like, okay, so how tight would it be to fold? Just gives you a better conception, I think, in your mind. All right, so we call it off. And boom. We win. Next. Raise up the ace queen, get a call on the button. King 10-3, a bit awkward. I do like betting in this situation. We have a gut shot. It's not a great board texture for us to play for a check call. We can put a lot of pressure on hands that are actually better than ours here, like 9s or deuces. So I like betting. And check fold on the turn. Yep. Cool. We limp with the 3-9 suited, blind versus blind. They raise, we fold. Not a lot to say there. Alright. A raise and a call, slip power, and a rogue rod. Now we just have 200,000 here. Shove is the best play for 25 big blinds. And there's not much to say about it. I mean, jacks are pretty good. We can't 3-bet less than all in. I think it's a good spot to just shove. Can call by ace king and win a huge flip, putting us up to 4.4 million. And this is a spot where I think we take the chip lead in the tournament. But maybe it was after this hand. No. Oh, I remember this. There's a point in this tournament where I get back-to-back aces. Ace deuce here. Dota is very short. Just going to be an all-in situation. Okay, so race from ice figure onto the gun. We should just call in this situation. Because ice figure is really deep stacked. So we call. Bet, just call. 4 on the turn. They bet again, 280,000. We've had a history with ice figure. I remember playing this hand now, where they played some hands very bizarrely. So I call, and then on the river they bet 700,000. Like, they're representing big pairs, but I would have expected ice figure to bet a larger size at some point in the hand. If they had an overpair, just based on our history, and they'd been really crazy. So I decided to look up here with our 8s, having, a pretty strong hand, although still a bluff catcher, and we beat ace 9, which sort of illuminates. Now we've definitely got to be chip leader in the tournament, sitting on 6.2 million. Okay, open the queen 10 suited. Get a call. I think we should bet here. It's obviously not a great flop for us in that we have 2 unders to the board. We do have 3 to a straight flush, though. And we get check raised, having a pretty weak hand. We fold. Raise, take it. Alright, slip is all in for 1.1 million. Simple reshove here with the 10s. Up against the ace 7, and we take it down. Next hand. We're getting short-handed, so we're probably final 2 tables here. I don't exactly remember. Alright, so raise, take it. What do we got here? Raise 3-bet from Eurus79, who is sitting on a really big stack here. Probably second place in the tournament right now. Second or third. Yeah, second. The 3-bet is quite small. Then again, it does make a lot of sense to stay out of the way of the big stacks. I think given we don't have any history, I like just folding here. And I do. It's not a great one. And king, queen, raise, take it. Min raise and a call. It's 100,000 to win 630,000. 6.3 to 1. We need 14% equity. I'm in there. Let's go. Flop with a pair of sevens. I think starting with a call is good. They do bet on the bigger side, but, you know, flopping second pair can be strong enough. And that's a really bad card. That ace, they're going to hit that quite a bit. We have to fold. 4-7 suited, limp, fold to the raise from US here. I don't think our hand is strong enough, especially when they make it 3.5x, and we are like second in the tournament, probably 2 euros. Don't think we want a limp call there. Although if it's a cash game and we were choosing a limp strategy for some reason, we'd probably call. So we raise under the gun, get a call from stall in the small blind, and see this flop. I like betting. About a third of the pot here, quite small. I think this is too big in hindsight. I should make it around 250,000 tops. So that's a sizing mistake where I just put out an additional 50,000 chips that didn't do anything for me. And those add up at the end of the day, so my bad. King 10, limp call here in this situation. Okay, so we're going to start with a check. This is obviously a great flop for us with our king 10 suited. That said, we don't necessarily want to get this all in right now. If we get it all in, we're going to be running into sets of queens, sets of sevens, king, queen, ace, king, and ace high flush draws, I guess, every once in a while. So I don't think it's a good idea to get it in against those hands. We have a strong top pair made hand, and we have a strong draw. But we can be beat on both ends of that, so I think just check calling. Queen on the turn, check, check, cool. Make her flush on the river, and let's bet now. I remember not knowing what to bet here, because if we think about our opponent, what sorts of hands do they have? They bet flop, they check turn. Well, they can have a king. They can have a 7, or they can have a flush that just got there too. Or they can just have give-ups. In general, I think it's going to be kind of tough to get a call from those King X and 7X type hands. So we should probably bet small here, like 450, 500k or something like that. Because they should be just really weak here. I go for 800,000, which I think is a mistake. But we get called. And they have a strong king, so. There you go. 8.5 million. Okay, ace 7 offsuit on the button. Raise shove from your. Oh no, raise 3-bet from Eurus. Then a 4-bet will fold. West takes it. And we have pocket fours here. Raise full stall in the big blind calls. I think we should probably bet here. Really small, like 250,000 tops. Yeah, 258. Okay. Hey, Burlaka 16 dropping that 8-month resub. Welcome back to Dreamers Inc. Can we get to love in the chat for Burlaka? Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, thank you. Hey, what happened with your voice? I slept, and then I woke. That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in on Twitch, by the way. We were doing a hand history review. I'm mostly just focusing on the hands and not the chat because I'm using this as a recording on YouTube, so that's what's up. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the resub, Burlaka. So we do bet because it's a flop that we can represent really well. Obviously, it's not very good for a pair of fours, but all the sorts of hands we're going to raise in this situation, a ton of them hit them. The ones that don't are like 9s through deuces. That's about it. Like a 9-8 suited. I guess like the ace wheel suited hands don't hit it, but we bet and take it. Raise, shove from stall. I remember this hand. I think I should call against stall. We're doing really well with our 10s. They shove for 7 big blinds. What I don't want to do is have to risk 40 big blinds against Priolo. I think that's a mistake. So I like calling. This is signaling the same thing to Priolo. We have a very strong hand. We could do this with aces as well. And if they come over the top, like, okay, well, they probably have a better hand. Or they have ace-queen suited or ace-king, but, like, most likely they just have, you know, tens to aces. They do shove, we fold, and they have aces, and Stahl has threes. So, overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Queens, raise, call on the big blind, jack 9-7. I think we should bet here, and I like the over half pot sizing. There's a lot of connected things that can hit this from a rem crop. We get check raised to 1.6 million. Excuse me, sorry. And I think we should shove. Given there's 3 million in the pot, they have 2.4 million remaining. Getting it in with their top pair type hands is going to be a good idea. We do block the draws, like Queen 10 draw, which isn't great. Then again, I think there's so much money in the pot and our hand is so strong that we need to roll. And sometimes run into better hands here. Shove and King 10 double gutter, so they needed a queen or an 8 to make the best hand. Let's see what the percentage was when it got in here. I guess 21%. Yeah, 21%. Is that right? 26% of the turn? No, that's not showing percentage. I don't know how to show percentage on this. Like how much equity they had. But it's, you know, it's not great. Like they need to hit a king or a queen or an 8. It's not huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 30, 32%, 33% or so when they got it all in, is my guess. I'll click on his cards. We'll show. Okay, that does nothing. Okay. So we have 9s. We see a raise on the gun from Eurus, who has about 11 million chips here. We're not at the final table yet, but this is the final 2 tables. So we call with our 9s. This is a bad flop. They check. They're going to hit this way more than us, right? Like, let's think about the sorts of hands that Eurus raises onto the gun and the sorts of hands that we decide to play. So, I mean, disregard this hand. But let's see what Eurus, you know, maybe opens onto the gun. Something like this, maybe. So, like, how much of this range of hands has an ace in it? Quite a bit, you know? All of these. Quite a few of the hands. And then let's make our range for calling in the hijack. What do we call with? Well, we don't call with this, 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 or this. We call with these. We might call with like this. Probably don't call with that. And then we also have a lot of these type hands. Take that out there. Something like this, right? So this is what we call with. As you can see, like, we have a few less aces. We might have a few of the weak suited aces, but a few less of the strong ones because we're 3-betting those. And then we also have a higher frequency of, like, hands that don't hit this ace high board. So that's the sort of advantage there, and we should check for that reason. Against good opponents, against bad opponents where they're checking and we just think they're giving up, and like, sure, bet, whatever. They bet 491,000, so we are getting 3.5 to 1. We need 22% equity. This is a tough spot though because they do have such a range advantage. We're drawing to potentially 4 outs here if those are good to our straight. I fold, and I think it's cool. Folds around a white blade who limps, which is the perfect case scenario with the 3s because now we get to shove. Against a shove, it would have been close, but a call. Whoops. There we go. Open up these. Queen, take it. Eurus raises, and we have ace-king here. I think we should Oh, I remember this hand. It was really close. So we are 1-2 in the tournament, first and second place, and we're down to like 14. I don't want to 3-bet here. Like, let's say we make it 1.4 million or something. Eurus can shove, and then we have to fold probably because of payout pressure. That sucks. We don't want to do that. And we definitely don't want to get this all-in ace-king against jacks for flip in this situation. The payout pressure is just so heavy, right? Like, our chip stack is one where we're going to get the top 4 or 5 really easily. So we don't want to do that, and I just elect to call here, which is really wild. But I do. That's pretty crazy. Now we see a 5-7-8, which is a terrible flop for ace-king. It really doesn't pay off. That said, we do have one of the better hands we're going to have in this situation, and we hit this board more than our opponent. So I can see the arguments for check raising here, I can see the arguments for calling, and I can see the arguments for folding. What I would do right now would be check raise against Eurus with our chip advantage. But I wouldn't hate myself for doing any of the three. We float. Okay, 6 on the turn, check, check. Then an ace on the river. I like trying to get some value here. I think they're going to have a lot of worse aces. I think if they have a 9, it's really likely they bet on the turn. They could check a 4. Foreshadow. Oh, no, different hand. Foreshadowing. I don't like my sizing. I think I should make it smaller here. I think we can get called by worse hands is the point. Cool. 12 million. So an open from Eurus. This is a really good 3-bet spot. If we get shoved on by king queen, who has 3 big blinds, cool, fine, that's okay. But we have the ace suited, so we can flop some good things. We have a blocker. It's a good spot for a bluff. Take it down. Eurus opens, and this time the chip difference is a lot bigger. So we're sitting on 14 million. Eurus has 8. If we lose an all-in flip, we still have 6 million, which is like ahead of average. So I like 3-betting here, and if they want to rumble, we can do it. Get a call. Very close spot with a king jack 9. I think checking is really good here because we don't we have to think past our bet. You know, we very likely have the best hand right now, but what do we do against check raises? We're doing terribly, right? We're doing really bad. We lose to king jack, we lose to king 9, we lose to jack 9, we lose to queen 10. We lose to jacks, we lose to 9s. Against heart draws, we don't want to get it in at the stack depth. So, yeah. I like checking back. Queen in the turn is a really bad turn. We beat king x hands, but again, they're raising in our under the gun at the 7-handed table. So we lose to any of the 2 pairs, any 10. We're not beating much here. Like, do they open king 8 suited? Probably not. So we're beating ace queen, ace jack, ace 9 suited right now. Check again. 9 on the river. We don't even beat ace 9 anymore. We beat ace queen, ace jack. They have ace jack. Thank God. But yeah, we actually just check, check, check. All 3 streets there. Okay, pocket 2s. Which is not normally an open, but I think given our chip stack and the pressure we can put on, I like it. Raise get 3-bet from Big Daddy and folding based on Big Daddy having less than 20 bigs. And we have an all-in for the short stack now. But they have ace-king. Can you believe it? They had 3 big blinds playing super tight. They picked up ace-king under the gun. Raise take it with ace-queen, 10-8. We are on the final 2 tables here. Raise 10-8, get a call. Ace-king 9 flop. I can go either way on this one. I think it is going to hit Flipmaster a decent amount. Then again, we don't have any equity on the turn. I think giving up is not the end of the world. Goes check, check. Now we pick up a crappy open-ender, but nevertheless, I think we should bluff in this situation now. So I'd bet like 1.2 million or so. 750,000 I think is too small. This jack hits the things that we're saying we check back with. Not putting a lot of pressure on Flipmaster. But it works. So there you go. An all-in from Eurus. Our ace-8 is doing well enough. Let's roll. Jack-10. King-4. We get third place. Third place in the hand. Onwards. Now white blade opens. We have this ace-jack offsuit. Yuck. Yucky spots against the white blade. Because Flipmaster sitting on 8 million, that's a lot to risk. King Queen on 2 million, Mr. Gritcha. Flatting is kind of gross. 3-bet folding is interesting. Kind of like a 3-bet fold here, actually. Make it 1.3 million. I don't think we can call off a shove. Because we're just risking way too much. Like, it's ICM suicide to call off here. But I also don't like calling pre-flop. And I think we put a ton of pressure on white blade. They just end up shoving, and that's that. Alright, so we get moved to the other table. We're not at the final table yet, but we get moved to the other table. Raise ace king, take it. Musavica raises and sitting on 15 million, so has more chips than me. We call 4-5. Check, check. Check, check. We pick up a pair. 2 pair on the river. I remember this bet. You know, just try and get some value. Just over half pot, but no call. Queen 10 of hearts we raise. We get a 3-bet from Musavica. Queen 10 suited, like, this is such a clear call in a lot of situations, but I elected to fold here because Musavica is one of the bigger stacks. As you can see, we're down to 11 or 10, I'm not sure which, in the tournament, and there's a lot of short stacks. We don't want to risk a ton of our chip stack. You know, what happens if the flop comes like Queen 9-7? They bet flop, we call. Turn comes a deuce, they bet turn. It's like now we're risking our tournament life with our sort of weakish top pair of queens. With this many people left in the tournament and pay jumps being huge. Again, here are the pay jumps. Right, so we're at $800 right now. It's $23,000 for first. It ladders up significantly. So if we're tied for 4th place right now and we go in 10th for $800, it's just such a huge disaster. So I don't mind a fold. But I feel, you know, it feels gross, obviously. Queen 10 suited is the dream. Ace Queen we raise, get a call. I like betting on this Ace King 8, pretty strong hand. And they just fold. Okay. The West raises. I think we can put in a 3-bet here. 10-8 suited is a hand that can put a lot of pressure on. Definitely don't like calling the small blind, so I would make it like 2.7 million or so. 2.4. All right. We get shoved on by the West and we'll fold. We limp a7 suited because I didn't want to raise fold to empty char, and I didn't want to get 3-bet from Musavica, who was chip leader in the tournament. So I elected the limp. Queen 10 deuce is a flop that's really going to hit the hands that we usually limp in this situation. So I like betting. 525, they call. Ace on the turn. Huh. So our hand improves. I think if I'm going to bet here, it's going to be quite small. And probably to take the free showdown on the river. It's thin as well. I do elect to check. We have 625,000 for betting, like, you know, 1/4 of the pot, 1/3 of the pot, 1/4 of the pot, 3.5 of the pot. Should probably call, especially when we check turn, but it's gross. Beat Queen Jack, so they're sort of like block betting / getting some value from some worse hands. And here we go, final table hype. Here are the pairs that we're playing for once again. So it's 1,100 for 9th place, 1,681, 2,400, 3,500, 5,100, 7,500, 11,000, 16,000, and 23K for the win. And looking around at this table, so we're sitting on about 10 million. We have the West here, who is definitely chip leader. Musavica, White Blade, doing well. So those are sort of the rich people, we'll say. We have the middle class with the 3 of us here sitting around 10 million, and then the short stacks. right? And that's sort of how the dynamic's going to start today. And all in for 1.7 million. Our ace-5 suited is ahead of Big Daddy here, definitely. So I think we should call and then fold to further action from these two. Which we do, but we lose to Queen Jack, unfortunately. We're going to open the ace deuce. We are going to get 3-bet from White Blade, and we should be folding here, given the situation. All right. Sub hype, Magic Move, dropping that 10-month resub. Can we get a love in the chat, please, for Magic Move? Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that very much. Welcome back to Dreamers Inc. Once again, anyone watching on Twitch, I'm doing this review for YouTube as well, so I'm not interacting in the live chat very much, as I'm sort of just trying to make sure that I can, you know, get through all the hands properly. So, but thank you guys for watching live, and let's get back into it. Just shove with the jacks here, which I think is good. Again, at this final table, we don't want to be having to call White Blade or empty char with our jacks. It really hurts with a bunch of short stacks, so just open shoving for 20 is the standard play. We're down to 8-handed now, so we have 1,600 locked up. Going to limp with our ace-queen against White Blade. Planning to limp shove in this situation, but they check. Bet the flop, take it. You could check here as well, but I think building a pot is good too. Ace deuce on the button for 14 big blinds. I'm shoving. As you can see, we're all the way down to 6-handed. So I filtered for just hands and then I'm playing. Or hands that I VPIP'd, so I folded a bunch and some people busted. Take that down. Raise from Musavica. We're sitting on 6.5 million now, so we're sort of one of the two shorties in the tournament. I think calling is totally fine. Flop with a flush draw, goes check check. This is really interesting, so we pick up a pair. I think checking is good now. And now we have queens and tens with a king kicker. The problem is when they check, 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 it's so likely they have an ace to me that I don't like bluffing at all. I think we should just check fold. I remember being super surprised here. Musavica didn't bluff the river with the nines. When they can definitely get me to fold like a king or jack. And we take that pot down, which is super sick. Ace-10 suited under the gun here, 6-handed. We elect to shove for 16 big blinds. Let's take a look here. Let's input this situation into ICMizer. And I may have to make a new tournament for this. So, I mean, we can do the Chippy V calculation without inputting the prizes and stuff to see how ICM is going to affect the shove. So just pure Chippy V, we're making 176k, so like a third of the big blind. I don't know if I'm going to be able to create a tournament on the fly here. PokerStars, money. MTT, normal. And then I need to add all the payouts here. So I guess I can just go like this. 23, 133. 15, 909. 10,000, 934. Thanks for bearing with. I'm unsure if this is the correct way to do it, and I'm sliding it out so I can see the 7518. And fifth place is 5170. Are we down to 5? Or it's 6? We're at 6. 3555. Okay. Create. So we have this custom tourney. Let's do ICM, Money V. Cool, cool, cool. And let's calculate now. Ace-10 showing a fold. Are the blinds right? No, they're at 5,100. That's what's wrong. I was like, no, this can't be. We're at 250k, 500k. Come on. That's right. We're gonna have to make new blind levels and stuff. Well, anyways, the point is, let's go back to our chip EV MTT 9 max normal. Pace hand history. And let's go chip EV. And we can once again just see, like, okay, so we're making 180,000 chips here. Sorry I'm not doing the ICM calcs for you today. But we're not going to be adjusting enough here with our ace-10 suited that we should be folding. Oh, and I think we win. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, we get called by Musavica. I didn't even know this. Oh, we get called by Queens. What? There we go. 17.5 million. I forgot about this hand. Sick. Okay. Well, that went well. Ace-9 Lemmer's blind against White Blade. I think limp calling is good. We're basically tied for second place. There's 2 short stacks, chip leader, and then 3 of us are basically tied. I like limp calling. It's better top pair. Cool. We check in the turn. I think we can definitely go for some more value here. I would have liked to bet again about 1.5 million. But we let them off, and now there's a 4-liner to a straight, and we have a difficult spot. 6-10. Yeah, I think I should bet on the turn there. Mistake by me. A7 to clubs. Raise, empty chair is all in. And it's close. It's gross. I think we should fold, though. It definitely would be a huge hit to our stack. So we'll just fold. Opening ace deuce. Take it. Ace 8. Probably going to be another limp call situation. We do. And now this is pretty awkward. They bet so small here. 1.3 million into 4 million that I think we continue with our ace 8. It doesn't feel very good though, right? Check, check. And 7 on the river. I like bluffing with our ace 8 here. We can get better ace highs to fold. We can get some small pairs to fold. We can represent flushes. I don't think we're going to be very good with our 8 as showdown. We don't elect to bluff. Which is too bad. But they have king 7, so they're definitely not folding that. But I still would have liked to bluff. Alright, so we're 5-handed now. Aces. Aces again. These were back-to-back hands. They both get through. That was back-to-back. So sick. Alright, 8s. We just shove here for 23 big blinds in this situation. Again, don't want to raise call. These 2. Called in the big blinds by ace-queen, and we hold for a huge flip. Up to 26 million, and we are 4-handed now. 4-handed in the tournament. We limp ace 8. We don't want to raise, have to call a shove, or put up with a 3-bet from White Blade, so I think limping is good. Quite close here as to whether we want to bet our second pair or not. I think I would check right now. Yeah, okay, we do. With 1.4 million from White Blade. I think a raise is very reasonable here to put in, and we make it 4.2 million. Can we get some love in the chat, please? For Killingbird, the longest subscriber to this channel. Get some hearts out in chat. 35 months in a row. Cheers, brother. Hope you're well, and thanks for 35 months of good times. Thank you so much, KB. I appreciate that, man. Welcome back to Dreamers Inc. Hearts out, you guys, for 35 months. Once again, everyone on Twitch, thank you guys so much for watching live. I'm doing this video for YouTube as well, so mostly sticking to the recording of the hands and stuff. But thanks for being here, and thanks, Killingbird. Alright, so we do put in a raise and get a call, and then a jack on the river. That hand definitely makes some things that we lose to, but I think we should bet again here. Bet quite small, 3.8. Get a call by ace 7, and we take over the chip lead up to 34 million. After that hand, so that was a big one. We open king 8 because we have 22 million, 25 million, and 8 million here. So we're going to be opening quite a few hands. Call, we bet small, take it down. 7-4, but White Blade is in a spot where they don't want to bust before empty char, so I think we should play. and just flop the nuts. That flop, bet turn. Unfortunately, that 4 makes it tougher to get money. I think we should open. Yep. I think given these stack situations, we should continue opening quite a few hands. So we're going to keep it going. We bet here with our flush draw and open ender. Strong enough draw to me. We make a straight. I don't mind checking back. I don't mind betting as well. I think checking back is good given the final table nature here. They check, and let's go for some value on the river. 2.4 million. No call, though. Gonna raise the king queen against the west. Check, check here. Good. A lot of good turns. Ace, king, queen, 10, spade are all pretty decent for us. And goes check, check, and then we see a big bet from the west. I think we have to fold. They bet 80% or so. See an open. I think calling is the right move here. The king, queen. And then we get squeezed, but it's so small. Look at this. We're getting 3-1 with our king, queen. They only make it 3.6 million, so I think we should call again. And just have to check fold on this flop. We have a lot of chips back there, but... Ace 4 suited, we raise. Empty chair. Re-raises, but for min, you guys. A min re-raise. 5.6 to 1. We're calling any 2 here. And we miss, though. Alright, raise call this time, and we flop it a flush draw on 2 overcards, so we bet 1.6 million. Take it down. I remember this 4-handed battle. It was a battle. But we had the chip lead for most of it. Check. I like checking back here. There's no point in betting, really. We're not protecting for much. Control the size of the pot. We bet turn. They fold. Excuse me. Let me make sure. Ugh, stretch out a bit. I did just wake up this morning. So we're going over this hand history review. Empty chair limps. Let's limp along with our king 6. So we pot control a bit with our king, which I think is fine given that they limped under the gun. Now I would go for a bet. And just take it. No more action. So we're 4-handed. Once again, we have $7,500 locked up right now. Third place was $10,900. Second place was $15,900, and then first place was $23,100. Raise it up to 1.6. We get 3 bets from White Blade. I don't want to play for this all pre-flop, especially given stacks, so I'm just going to call. And check call on this flop. Check, check on the turn. Value bet river, I think, is good. 5.2 million. Sometimes we could see better hands from them, like 10s, jacks, queens could play definitely this way. But I think there's a ton of worse hands we can get called by, like 6s, right? So there we go. And we have a huge chip advantage right now, 52 million. We have more than the rest of the table combined. And we see an all-in. We call with our ace 4 and same hand, chop it up. Same hand, chop it up. We raise on the button. Empty chair calls on the big blind. Flop at a top pair. Bet take it. Ace 9. I think raising is good here given the short stacks. Just putting pressure on. Take it. We reshove our pair of 5s against empty chairs min raise. This is just the fun. It's like fun when you're chip leader at this stage. We should raise here again with our queen 7. We get a call this time. I do elect to bet on this king 10-3, even though I think it's going to hit them a decent amount. There's still this huge payout pressure, and they do fold. Raise call. Go for a c-bet real small here. They check shove. We'll fold. Pretty straightforward stuff. Defend the ace 5. Check call. No reason to get out of line. White blade bets really big here too, which is awkward. Check, check. And I like block betting river again around 3 million. Something like that. 2.8. Same deal. And they have ace queen. But once again, like, we lose less money than checking and try and bluff catch. So, yeah. Raise 3 bets. I think folding is cool. Ooh, I call here. That's pretty intense. Guess we are getting 3 to 1. We need 25% equity, but I also think this is pretty strong from Whiteblade given the stack sizes. They check and we bet here. Seems pretty optimistic, but then again, like if Whiteblade has Ace King, if Whiteblade has Ace Queen, they're going to fold. If they have like a suited ace, they decided to 3-bet bluff, like Ace 5 through Ace Deuce, they're gonna fold. If they have a pair, small pair, they're gonna fold. But it's still like really intense for me to bet in this situation. We just had the backdoor flusher on the overcard. It works out. Again, I think we should raise any 2 here, given the stack situation. And we just shove in this situation. 18 big blinds or 18 million, which is about 20 big blinds and then 10 big blinds. And we shove Jack 9 as well into 8, 9, and 20 big blinds. Called in big blind for the West. No, the West takes it down with Ace Jack. So now we're sitting on 48 million. Again, raise is cool. Could limp call the A7 suited as well. And I mean, I guess open any 2 here. Jack 3 is so terrible, but then again, there's so much pressure. And we continue this long 4-handed battle. I remember this. So I like to bet with my second pair, which I think makes sense given the nature of this chip stack distribution and the pressure that's on our opponents. I don't think we're going to get check raised very often light. So I like protecting from, random overcards that can make better pairs for them, etc. Plus, we're going to have so many bluffs in this situation. It's good to be value betting a hand like a 9 here. So I do bet, and they fold. So we shove over the West's limp. Queens, just a raise. Hey, here it is. No! Barry! Barry, please, Barry! It's a flop, Barry. It's not a Barry. Ace is going to take it down. So now we're down to 39 million and 33 million going to Whiteblade. That was a sick pot that definitely changed this tournament for me. I mean, there's plenty of times I got there. But gonna limp with the 7-9. Go for a limp call. 2.7 million. Check, check. Hey, full house. We bet 3.6 million. They raised to 7.2 million. My thinking was here, if they have 10 jack, if they have 10-6, if they have 6-5, if they have a 7x type hand, if they have 7-8, they're gonna go broke in this situation. I think I should shove and just try and get all their money. But they just folded, so they just had a random bluff, I guess. You don't expect to get bluffed very often there, which is why I liked going for all the value against worse value hands. So once again, we're in a pretty good spot. We've chipped up quite a bit. Hope the 7-10 gets shoved on for 7 big blinds. We call. Lose to 10s. And onwards. Queen 5 we raise. Take it. The West shoves. Close situation here with King 8. It's by the book going to be a call in this situation. I can show you the chip EV spot of this. I don't know how to get you the ICM EV without making a custom tournament right now. But let's take a look at the chip EV of this situation, and you'll see clearly how profitable we are to call here. We profit over a big blind. With ICM, they're going to be shoving tighter, but still, I think we call. We're up against 5-6, but no. But no. The 5-6 gets there, and we lose another all-in. We're still in a good spot, but they pick up more chips. Ace 5, we're going to raise it up to 2 million again, just choosing the same strategy. King 10-3. It is going to hit Whiteblade a decent amount. Also, chip stacks aren't such that we have such a huge advantage anymore. I don't mind checking here. Cool. Check folding. Cool, cool. Here's ace 5, take it. I mean, it really was in this four-handed battle. I felt like accumulate chips and then sort of lose a flip and accumulate chips and then lose a flip. That's kind of how it worked. And it was a long, intense four-handed battle. Open the ace 10. So we're going to raise the ace 7, blind versus blind, and once again we've chipped up to 38 to 22 million, so almost double. We have an all-in from empty chair, and this time we're going to call with our 5s. Oh, we get an overcall from white blade. I remember this, so I didn't really want to reshove against white blade and risk 27 big blinds, because I assumed that white blade would fold quite a bit in the big. So I just called, and then I was surprised when they overcalled. But, you know, there's some hands that are going to do that, right? So the question is it better to risk 27 big blinds but isolate the pot? Or is it better to just call and then get a few more calls? Check it down. Ace 3, ace 9. Our 5s don't do well, and empty chair stays alive. Again, raise with our chip advantage in a small blind. Just keeping the pressure on. 6-8 suited, we raise, take it. Now action on the West, who limps, I think, shoving with our ace. They have about 17 big blinds to start the hand. Just shove and take it. And here, I'm going to raise, call, empty chair again, folds. Keeping the pressure up, raising the small blind. Opening jack 7 suited as well. I think we'd have to call empty chair if they shove. They didn't, though. Now they stop and go for 6.6 million. Top pair, is it good? Is it good? No. Yes, 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 it is. We have a straight. Never mind. Whew. So we weren't good when they shoved, but then we hit our 10 out, and our gut shot is made to a straight, and we get there. So we're now three-handed. GG to empty chair, who goes home with $7,500. Now we're all over 10,000, so 10,900 is what we have. Go to the next hand we play. So we're sitting on 52 million. The West opens, just shove here. The 7s. They have ace queen. We lose another flip. No, we lose another flip. Yeah, you know, we've lost quite a few at this final table, but don't worry, we've hit plenty of undersets. Plenty of undersets this whole tournament. Open the 6-5 suited, get a call. It's a pretty good flop for us, obviously. So we bet about 2.5 million. They call. Pretty bad turn, check, check. Pretty bad river, check, check. Lose to the 8 of hearts. No. Yeah. Oops. Let's screw that up. There we go. Check. They stab on the flop, get a call. There's a lot of good turns for us with 10-8 here. I mean, a 6 makes a straight. 10 or an 8 makes a really good hand. 9 makes a good draw. Jack makes a good, gut shot, bluffing spot. We decide to barrel again on the ace turn. They call. And we don't have a straight here. But it's a scary card for them. If they have a 7, a 5, or a 4, it's going to be really difficult for them to call on the river. Spades get there, which is one of the hands I'm going to bluff with on the turn. I like throwing out the triple barrel here. And I do bet 7.5 million, and white blade does fold. So triple barrel spot, successful. I think it was a good one for it. We're on to the next one. Limp the queen deuce, blind versus blind. White blade is a little bit too short to want to raise there. And we can't shove. Now queen 8, blind versus blind, we can shove. Now we're down to 10 big blinds. So we'll take that. Open the 7s, take it down. Shove the jack 7 against the 7 big blinds. Pocket 2s, raise, and 3-bet, 4-bet all in. We're going to fold our 2s. Ace king against ace 6. Oh, it's a 6. We're still three-handed. What a crazy, crazy tournament this has been. a min raise from white blade. I like reshoving with our ace-7 offsuit here. We can also call, but by the book, definitely shoving. We're going to show profit. And we take it down. BCAT, no. No, I'm not. I mean, I have it other situations, but, like, I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully pretty clearly. I'm just going to continue talking through my situations. Sorry. Continuing on. The West limps for 1.2 million. We should just check here. I mean, 9-6 is not a great hand, obviously. So I think seeing a flop for free is cool. But we raise up to 4.2 million, which is pretty frisky. I do remember briefly like some sort of game flow situation where, you know, I thought that I was going to get this through a lot. But this is not by the book. Without having that game flow information, I think I should just check and see a flop here. I elected to go for the raise. It worked out in our favor. The West makes it 2.4 million. I like 3-betting with our Jack-10 here. Calling really sucks. We can get squeezed from white blade. With our Jack-10, we can put a ton of pressure on the West, and we do have a slight chip advantage on them. And we have 2 broadways here. Take it down. Limp from the West, and we shove for a lot of chips here because the West is limping off 26 big blinds or so. I think this is too much for us to shove in this situation. I don't think we need to risk this much. I think we should raise to like 5 million or something against the West. But shoving her to 26 big blinds is quite a bit. Now, I do think that the West never chooses to limp aces, kings, queens, jacks here, right? I don't think that they ever decide to limp strong hands because they hadn't done that at all. And they have a stack size where they don't have to. So I think they always have weak sort of limps in this situation, which is why I shoved in this spot, because it's so unlikely they can call. But I still don't think we have to do this. It's risking a lot. That I'm like wrong and they played it weird, you know. Shove, take it. Raise all in. So we are getting a good price here. We need 34% equity. With 9-6 suited, we're going to have it. So we call. And chop it up. 4s and 5s with an ace kicker. I remember this one. That is a sick chop. Whew. That was a sweat. Pocket 6s. We shove. Take it down. And now we're heads up. So our opponent was busted by the West, and we are heads up in this situation. I did have a computer crash, so something that happened in this tournament, which is why this review is going on in the first place. My computer crashed. The recording was deleted. I had to restart my computer, sort of change the dynamics a little bit of the match. So we're coming into this thing a little bit frazzled. There was, do you want to have a deal? And I said no. The payouts that we're looking at here are 15,900 for second and first place of 23,100. So a common question I've gotten and I usually get after tournaments is like, tournaments that I lose are, why didn't you take a deal? You should have taken a deal. I mean, to me, my philosophy on deals are that I'm live streaming, one, so I want to do my best to create an entertaining show, and I'm in a fortunate enough situation where whether I got second place for 16,000 or first place for 23,000, I was still going to be in a pretty flush bankroll situation. I'm still able to play the tournaments I want to play. It's not going to affect my real life situation. And so I feel really comfortable. And I've more times than not, declining a deal, I've come out on top because I feel like I just have the upper hand a lot. So it was no exception here. I was down to play, this $8,000 heads up match. And yeah, it was fun. So let's check it out. So we have Jack 10, and we've taken a raising strategy mostly in this heads up match. We decide to raise, get a fold, take it down. Here's the ace queen, take it down. I guess this is just gonna show hands of me raising on the button because of the way I filtered it. It's probably not gonna have defends. in it, which is not ideal. We check on the flop, check on the turn, and then they bet on the river. 3.2 million. We're just going to fold. I'm hoping that we have a hand where I'm not opening. I might have to filter this different. Let me just adjust one thing, you guys. So, okay, this was 6-7. So I'm going to clear filters. And I'm going to try and find... I'm going to try and find it from 6-7 onwards, so that we can get the hands that I'm defending in the big blind as well. So, and I found it. Okay. There we go. Can we see that now? Are we good to go? Make it, resize it a bit. There we go. Okay, cool. So, raise the 6-7, take it. And now it's the other way. Now it's like the right direction, so we get to click forward. Which is cool. Okay. 10-6, our opponent just folds, which we're happy about, obviously. Jack deuce, we're going to raise, take that down. 9-5, our opponent min raises, we should be defending. Or they limp, so we're going to see a flop for free. Queen, queen, jack. I decided to bet here in that it's going to be quite easy to get our opponents to fold like two unders that have equity, or are either going to bluff us. So I just took a stab here. Get a call, and then I think we should just give up our dreams. King 5, raise, get a call. 10-7 deuce. Not a flop that we hit very hard. I think with the overcard and the king high, we should probably bluff in this situation. And shut down on that 9 turn, which really hits our opponent quite hard. 6 as well hits them. I don't think it's a good spot to bluff. So you can see the West, I think, has a chip advantage here, 53 to 37 million. They limp, we check. Going for the check call with our ace deuce and check here on the turn. I decided to turn my ace into a river on this 10 of diamonds because I think that our opponent is going to bet hands like Jack 10, Jack 9, 10, 9, and diamond draws earlier in the hand. And they're going to bet all their queens and all of their 8s. So basically they don't have any of those things, right? They can have some better ace highs we can get to fold because that 10 can really hit us. So it represents some of the hands that we're going to be checking on the turn, planning to check call. They have 9s, definitely not trying to get 9s to fold. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that bluff still. Raise up Jack 5, call. Really awkward here. The ace king jack, check back, make 2 pair. Hella yeah, bet call. River king is terrible news. I remember this hand that we actually win against a flush draw, which I think they should maybe consider lead bluffing on the river. This is a really bad card though, you know. Kings and jacks with an ace kicker. Next hand. Raise call with the 10 deuce suited. I'd fold 10 deuce offsuit here, but 10 deuce suited we're gonna play. Here's king queen. 7-6 deuce, not the best flop in the world. We check back. I think if I could go back in time, I'd just continuation bet here. I think our hand's a little bit too weak. I'd rather check back some ace highs, because now we just fold the turn. Yeah, so I think that's a mistake. I think I should bet there. If we check our 5 deuce and check folds. Over the queen 7, flop at the top paramount. Pretty good. We're gonna bet small, get a call. Turn is a jack. I think we should bet again here. We are a bit more vulnerable, but I would bet probably around 6 million. I go for a check back, pot controlling a bit. I understand what I'm thinking, right? Like 10-9, queen jack, queen 8, queen 5, 5-8, jack 8, 8s, jacks, 5s. Although they did 3-bet 8s, jacks, and 5s. Are all out there, and what sort of value hands we can get value from? Well, one pairs of queens, 8s, jacks, and club draws, basically. And it hurts us with that 10 on the river, so my check back decision is going to cost us because that 10 completes a ton of things. And there it is, the straight. We don't bet on the river, so I sort of sniff out that that's a really bad card for our range. But we do lose to the straight. That one hurt. They're up to 67 million. We're down to 25 million. That pot wasn't very fun, for sure. I remember that. Limp check with a deuce 5. They stab, we fold. Again, still just choosing a raising strategy here. I like betting our middle pair of 6s because I think there's a lot of overcards we can protect from. So we're not always going to bet our second pairs, but I think it's fine here. I decide to check back. Okay, surprising to me. I would have liked to bet, I think. We decided to bet on the turn, though, and it works out. That's fine. They limp. Check our queen 6. Check call, I think, with bottom pair is good. It's pretty standard. 9 of the turn, a really bad turn. They barrel again. We have to fold. Not a lot we could have done here. I mean, I would have liked the barrel with the queen on the turn. But, yeah. I mean, looking at this heads-up match, there's not too much standing out to me. Raising the 10-6 offsuit, which I saw nice comments on Reddit. Like, oh, he raised 10-6 offsuit with 15 big blinds. Word. I did, man. The West limps. We have ace deuce here with about 15 big blinds, so we shove the ace. But no, we got trapped by the ace king. And that is the end of the journey, guys. GG. I get second place in the tournament for a pretty solid, a pretty nice and juicy $15,900. So hopefully you guys like that we're watching it live on Twitch. Thank you guys for checking it out. It was a lot of fun, like the actual live stream, which you can still see on my Twitch page, YouTube, by the way. Go to my profile, you can see it there. And if you guys watch this hand history review on YouTube, I hope you liked it. The 2 parts, it ran about 2 hours in total, going over all the hands I VPIP'd, and then a few more heads up. So, yeah, a lot of fun. I'm happy with the run, and hopefully we can do it again. Hope you liked it. Till next time, we'll see you later.